We're lucky here today to have the 2014 Queensland Rally Championship Navigator here with us. We've invited Erin Kelly along to come and have a chat to us and give us a little bit of background on what her navigating career has been and to give us an idea on what her job is in the car. So Erin, welcome and thanks for your time here today.
No worries.
Just wanted to get a bit of an idea of what actually got you into the sport here.
Well, really it's a family thing. So my granddad started rallying in the late 50s, early 60s. So my mum and my uncles all grew up with it.
Yeah, because your mum's obviously very experienced in that as well. Yeah.
So mum got back into it a few years ago, and so did my uncle, and he asked me to co-drive for him in his Renault Alpine A110. So yeah, that's where it all started.
So how many years now would you say you've been driving that?
Maybe 10 or 11. Yeah.
Long time.
Long time.
So have you ever been tempted to drive?
I have. Yeah, I think it would be great fun, but obviously you need a much bigger budget. I've got a little Escort in the shed, which I can take out and do little motor cars with and car crosses,
But for you, the navigating is the way to go. And
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously from a cost perspective, it's a lot more attractive and an easier way for people to get into the sport.
Yes.
Is that really what attracted you?
To some extent, yes. As I said, it was a family thing, so that opportunity came up.
That's it,
and I jumped at
so
it.
you're quick to get in. So.
And then I was addicted. Once you start, you just want to keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what is your job as a navigator? Can you explain to our viewers exactly, apart from holding the left side of the car on the road, what do you do in the car?
Number one, the driver will say for balance and weight.
Big flavoured balance, they call it.
Yeah. So I need to call the notes to the driver to tell him what's coming up in the road. So you usually want to be a little bit ahead of where you're currently at in the road, so the driver can picture in their head what's coming up so they can drive the car appropriately or position the car appropriately.
Okay. And so have you been over the road beforehand, or is it something that's a total surprise for you?
Yeah, so it depends on the type of event. So you can have pace-noted events where you get to go and do a reconnaissance. You get to have 2 passes of the road. So on the first pass, the driver will tell you what they want you to write down. And then on the second pass, you call it back to them just to make sure that everything's okay.
Right. And then obviously, when you get into the rally, it's all at a much higher speed.
Exactly.
And you've got to be that much further ahead of the driver with that information. So there is another type of instructions you can get. That's what they call route charting. How does that work?
Yeah, so that's what we call a blind rally. So that's when you haven't seen the course before. And maybe a few hours before the event starts, you'll get your road book and you're given a set of tulips and distances. So the navigational style is slightly different. So rather than continuously calling notes and calling every corner of the road, you may only call, 1 call every kilometre or so.
Right. And so you'd be using a distance meter, like a trip meter?
Yeah. And generally you'll give a countdown. So you may call the call, it might be road goes right in 1 kilometre. And then you'll stay silent till about 500 metres and you'll just give them a little reminder. And then you give them a countdown of 300, 200 and 100.
And how do you find the drivers go listening to you?
They're pretty good. Yeah. I think if they didn't listen to us, then they might get into a bit of trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And have you had any sort of real big ones, big crashes, big incidences?
I have. Yeah. I think last year alone I was in 3 rollovers. Yep. So I think my tally's up to 5 or 6 now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they build the cars safe. We wear all the right equipment and harnesses and that sort of thing. So the likelihood of being hurt is pretty minimal, isn't it?
Yeah, in saying that, so I've had maybe 2 or 3 really big accidents in my 10-year career, and the worst I've walked away with is maybe a couple of bruises and a bit of a headache.
Yeah, exactly. But the flip side of it obviously is the fun of the sport, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you do it for the adrenaline.
Absolutely. So, one thing that we've always found appealing about rallying is the family element, and obviously coming in with the background that you have, it's obviously a big part of your sport. How does that sort of work at each rally, at an event? How's the sort of family element kicking?
Well, it's really interesting. Like at Rally Australia last year, I was running in the WRC field. Mum was running in the classic field, and then my stepdad was also running in the ARC classics.
Right.
So we're all in kind of different classes, but we're all so busy it's hard to keep track of one another. So you just kind of catch up at the end of the day and see how it's going. You really have to focus on what you're doing and try not to get distracted.
So you not only do dirt rally as far as forest rally, which is really what we're here today to talk about, but you do tarmac rallying as well. What's the difference there between dirt rally and tarmac rally?
So tarmac rallying is generally a lot faster than dirt rallying. The whole atmosphere of tarmac rallying is a lot more relaxed as well, so it's not as strict on time controls and checking in on time and whatnot. You just kind of rock up to a stage and then you go. The cars are a lot more expensive and flash, so you know, in tarmac rallying you've got the GTRs and the Lamborghinis and the McLarens and Porsches.
But they squeal when they scratch them, don't they?
Yeah. They don't like to get dirty.
Exactly. So you touched on another part of the role of a navigator too, is the control procedures. What's that about? What's your role in that area, and how does that sort of work with the scoring and how you're running in the rally? Yeah,
so when you get to a time control, you've got your allocated time that you can check in. So you can't check in too early, otherwise you get penalised, and you can't check in late because you get penalised again. And it's actually worse to check in early than it is to check in late.
Right. Okay.
So it's your job as a co-driver to tell the driver how long you've got to get to a control, so you know they can drive within the speed limit but still get there on time.
Yep.
And then also once we get to the control, let them know when we can drive in and check in and whatnot.
Yep. So then basically you're kind of like the administrator.
Yes.
Right up to the point in time when you get the countdown to start the stage, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you kick in as your navigator calling the notes and zeroing the trip meter and that kind of thing. So fantastic. As I was saying, 2014, you were Queensland Rally Champion Navigator. Awesome result there. You were running with Matt Van Tunen then in the Subaru WRX and had a very, very successful year. Very strong competition for the season against Ian Menzies, and it was one of the best fights we've seen in many, many years that we've come there. How was it from your side?
It was intense. But I thrived on it. It was really exciting. You know, to win Border Rangers by only 1 second. Like it came down to the last stage, and it was just amazing. And to have a championship that goes down to the, you know, whoever wins the last round is the winner of the season, you know. That's close.
Absolutely.
That's how you want
Fantastic fight, exactly. And that pressure on you, how did you feel that? Like, was it sort of something very real and very intense on you?
It was, But I love that sort of stuff. I love working under pressure like that.
Yeah, we've seen in-car footage, and hopefully we're going to be able to include some of your in-car footage as well. And the way that you are so smooth and relaxed and calm, it's an absolute credit. And a lot of people, like we've got a lot of other new navigators that we've been saying, have a watch of some of Erin's footage because it's just fantastic to see her work. Really want to thank you for your time today. It's been fantastic having you here. What are your plans for this year, 2016?
So I'm competing in the Australian Rally Championship this year again with Adrian in a Toyota Corolla 2000 car.
Fantastic. That should be awesome. So that's what, a 6-round championship?
5 rounds this year.
Yeah.
So first round's in Perth at the end of April.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to seeing you out there. Can we get to see you run in Queensland?
If the opportunity comes up, I'll certainly consider it.
We'll make seats available.
Erin,
it's been great. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you. No problem.
Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.